Recent research in Poland exposes complex practices related to human consumption and systematic bone manipulation 18,000 years ago. A recent analysis of human remains found in Maszycka Cave in southern Poland has provided key insights into cadaver handling practices among Magdalenian groups approximately 18,000 years ago. The bones of at least 10 individuals, including 6 adults and 4 juveniles, show marks that indicate systematic processing for the extraction of meat and bone marrow. This evidence points to a possible case of cannibalism, whose motivations could be related to funeral rituals or intergroup conflicts. The researchers identified cuts and fractures in 68% of the bones analyzed, suggesting that these modifications were made with human tools shortly after the individuals' deaths. This finding rules out the possibility that the remains were handled after a period of decomposition, as happens in other funerary rituals. In addition, the study notes that no signs of respectful ceremonial treatment, such as the use of pigments or the inclusion of offerings, were found, reinforcing the hypothesis of a violent or utilitarian context. The Magdalenian culture, which developed between 23,000 and 14,000 years ago, is known for its rich symbolic and artistic tradition, which includes the famous Palmira Cave paintings and ivory sculptures. However, their treatment of the dead has been the subject of debate among archaeologists. In Maszycka's case, the skeletal remains were discovered in the 1880s and have since been the subject of multiple studies. Initially, the markings on the skulls were thought to be related to funerary rituals focused on the removal of the brain. Has shown that these modifications also include fractures in long bones to access the bone marrow, pointing to wider human consumption. A comparative analysis of the marks allowed other possible explanations, such as trampling or carnivore bites, to be ruled out. In addition, the researchers reviewed remains previously classified as faunal, which expanded the body of available evidence. This methodological approach has been key to reconstructing human behaviors in prehistoric contexts and understanding the social dynamics of Magdalenian groups. The study raises 2 possible explanations for the cannibalism documented in Maszycka. On the one hand, it could be a funerary cannibalism, in which the consumption of the bodies was part of a ritual of respect or spirituality towards the dead. On the other hand, the possibility of a war cannibalism, linked to intergroup conflicts during the period of reoccupation of Europe after the last glacial maximum, is considered. The remains show no signs of ceremonial treatment, which tips the balance towards the second hypothesis. In addition, the mixture of human bones with faunal waste suggests an apparent indifference to bodies, characteristic of violent contexts or environmental pressure. This type of practice was not unusual among the Magdalenians, as evidenced by other contemporary sites in Europe, such as Goff's Cave in England and Brillenhole in Germany. Maszycka Cave, located near Krakow, is one of the most important sites for the study of cannibalism in the Upper Paleolithic. The remains found at this site likely belonged to a family unit, adding an emotional and social dimension to the analysis. However, limitations in 19th-century excavation methods have made it difficult to fully interpret the findings. For example, the absence of more fragile bones, such as ribs or phalanges, could be due to their loss during excavations or their consumption in the context of cannibalism. In addition, the lack of detailed records about the original disposition of the remains complicates the reconstruction of the events that led to their handling. Despite these difficulties, the researchers believe that Maszycka offers a unique window into understanding the complex cultural and social dynamics of the Magdalenians. The Magdalenian period coincided with the beginning of the retreat of the last Great Ice Age, approximately 20,000 years ago. This climate change transformed the European landscape, opening up new opportunities for fauna and flora, as well as for human groups. However, it also generated territorial tensions and competition for resources, which could have contributed to episodes of violence and cannibalism. In this context, cannibalism in Maszycka could be interpreted as a survival strategy or as a manifestation of intergroup conflicts. Alt-hot cannot be said with certainty that this is a case of war cannibalism. The evidence points to a complex interaction between cultural, environmental, and social factors.